This is reproducible every day. I can tell you what's going to exactly happen in 3 days. A human body is comprised of 50 trillion cells. When we look at ourselves in the mirror and say there's a single entity, no, that's an illusion. A human is a community of 50 trillion cells. The cells are the living entity. Every day in a normal body, every day, hundreds of billions of cells die every day. Just in the time we've been talking, 100 million cells probably have died. Hair cells, skin cells, blood cells. Obviously, something's replacing your dying cells every day or you wouldn't be here. In our body, we have stem cells. I grow stem cells in a tissue culture 50 years ago. I take one cell, put it in a dish all by itself. And every 10 hours it divides. So first there's one cell, then there's two, then there's four, then there's eight, and doubles and doubles and doubles. And after a week, I've got 30,000 cells in the Petri dish from one parent. What's the point? I have 30,000 genetically identical cells. They all came from the same parent. So 30,000 genetically identical cells. I split them into 3 dishes. Each dish has a different culture medium, environment. That's another word. In one culture medium, the cells form muscle. In the second culture medium, my stem cells form bone. In the third culture medium, my stem cells form fat cells. The cell was responding to the environment. Now let's make this into why this is relevant to us as humans instead of cells in a plastic dish. The human body's got 50 trillion cells in it. The cells are the living entity. So what's the point? A human body is a skin-covered Petri dish with 50 trillion cells. And there's a culture medium, the original culture medium, blood. The cells in my body are in a skin-covered Petri dish. They're responding to the chemistry of the blood, which is the culture medium, which determines their fate. And then all of a sudden, the most important question, there's 2, who's the chemist? Who's in the lab, I made the culture medium, but in your body, who's the chemist that puts the chemistry into that blood? The answer is the brain is the chemist. And then comes the most important question of all. What chemicals should the brain put into the blood? Because if you change the chemicals, you change the fate of the cells. Whatever picture you hold in your mind, the brain translates that picture into chemistry that complements that picture and puts that chemistry in the blood, and the body responds to the picture in your mind. Well, I could have a picture of health, or I could have a picture of fear. I say, well, that's different chemistry. When you're in love, the brain releases love chemistry, which is like dopamine, pleasure. That's why falling in love, oh, it's so great, it's pleasure. It also releases oxytocin, which bonds you to the source of your love. It releases another chemical, vasopressin, that makes you more attractive to your partner, so that your biology is now, advertising, I'm a healthy, happy person, vasopressin. But the big one is this: growth hormone is released into the blood when you're in love. The chemistry of the body provides extreme health. That's why people, when they fall in love, they glow, they're so healthy, everything's like, oh my God, I love my life. I go, that's chemistry, okay? Now let's just give today's chemistry and fear. A picture of fear in my mind causes stress hormones, cortisol, things like that, and factors that shut down the immune system. They're called cytokines. And so the blood of a person in love has a different chemistry than the blood of a person in fear. And it's really hard for people to take this fact in, but it's a fact of science. The most valid science on planet Earth is called quantum physics. There is no science that has been tested more, affirmed more, proven to be more truthful than quantum physics, the most truthful science on the planet. The first principle of quantum physics is consciousness is creating your life experience. The biology we just talked about is the interface of how consciousness controls the chemistry from the brain, which controls your life experiences, your genetics, your behavior, and the character of your life. We are creating our life experiences with our consciousness. And then the question is, where are you getting your consciousness from? What information are you putting in there? Because that information will be translated directly into your biology. We're being told we're all going to die. And I go, whoa. Put that picture in your mind and let me know what kind of chemistry is coming out of your brain. Well, I can tell you, stress hormones and cytokines. Watch what you're thinking. Because the moment you are thinking of stressful things like, oh my God, I'm not working for weeks and on my job, my salary, do I have any money? Fear comes from that. Can I pay the rent? Fear comes from that. Am I going to die? Of course, fear comes from that. And I go, these fears are the primary things that inhibit the function of the immune system. Norman Cousins, who healed himself from a lethal disease, healed himself by what? He locked himself in a hotel room and got all kinds of comedies, Marx Brothers and things like that. And what did he do? He just sat there and enjoyed life and laughed and did all that. And he overcame an illness that should have killed him. If we do not focus on the problems that they keep throwing at us, and you start to look at your life and say, am I okay? Yeah, I'm pretty good. How's my family? We're good. We're healthy. Even if there's a flu, as I said, half the people tested with the flu don't even have symptoms. So it's not as lethal as they say. It's the fear of death is the problem that we must deal with today.